Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this video. I am Kat, Portuguese teacher and translator. And in this video, I will be doing an introduction to the subjunctive mood in European Portuguese. I will be using my guides, the Subjunctive Mood self-help guides. You can find the link in the description below, as well as the free cheat sheet that has precious information for you to start understanding the subjunctive. And some parts of this book are also in the cheat sheet, so you can download it right away. I would be lying if I said that the subjunctive is easy peasy lemon squeezy. It is not. It is one of the most nuanced parts of Portuguese grammar. But why, really? Why does the subjunctive feel too complicated at first? First of all, most of the approaches of the teaching methods, they teach the subjunctive as the hypothetical verb moods, as hypothetical verb tenses that are just used to express hypotheses or possibilities not accomplished. If you learn the subjunctive this way, you will be set up for failure, because very soon you will realize in your daily life in Portugal, in your communication in Portugal, that the subjunctive is all around, and it is not just hypothetical. Truth is, the subjunctive is imposed by the grammar in specific cues. The main one is que. There are many situations that just because of the que, we have to use the subjunctive. And there are gray areas all over language, and the subjunctive has many gray areas. What are gray areas? It's parts that are neither black or white, that we have two, sometimes even three possibilities. And it's not that they're exactly the same. Sometimes both are grammatically correct, but one of them sounds more natural for a native speaker. So this is a crucial difference to understand, the difference between being correct, speaking grammatically correct, and being grammatically correct, and sounding native-like, so sounding natural, speaking like a native. And in many situations, we have the subjunctive as the most natural option, even though the other option without the subjunctive, with the indicative mood, it's also correct. So in this video, I will be giving you my approach, which is a really intuitive way to break down the three tenses. And you will be learning the subjunctive with the right exceptions right at first, so that you're set up for success. So let's start. First of all, I want to highlight what a beautiful feature of Romance languages the subjunctive is. I know that at first you will not love the subjunctive because it will feel like another more tense to memorize, as if we didn't have enough tenses in Portuguese, right? I know. But I will invite you to look at the subjunctive with different lenses, because the subjunctive, it's really, really human. I don't know any other part of grammar that is as human as the subjunctive. It expresses the likelihood degree and the uncertainty with such precision. It's like amazing. I always miss the subjunctive in other languages when it doesn't exist. So, I invite you to really see the beauty and the depth of the subjunctive, which makes language beautifully, beautifully rich. So let's take a look at the present tense. With the present tense, we express what is possible to exist, all the realm of possibilities. With the future tense, we express what is likely to exist. This only exists in Portuguese. All the other Romance languages, they surely have the present and the imperfect subjunctive, but the future only exists in Portuguese. And this is perfectly conveying the future accomplishment, a future certainty that has not yet come to life, but it is there. So it's the most assertive, the least hypothetical of all subjunctive tenses. And the imperfect is used for everything that is poor likely or impossible to exist. It is the most hypothetical and the least assertive of all of them, expressing the higher uncertainty. And everything that you say with "I hope" will trigger the subjunctive. I hope you're well. I hope you are doing well. Espero que estejas bem. The classical sentence, I hope you had a nice weekend, because it is about the past, it is with the compound present subjunctive. It is, espero que tenhas tido bom fim de semana. And this compound present subjunctive is also in this book. This book has all the simple tenses as well as the compound tenses. So now let's start breaking down and distinguishing the three different sentences. A great memory hack is for you to connect the connectors with the tenses, because more often than not, they will come along with them. And so in this table, we have the likelihood degrees here. You can see, yes, here. We have the gray boxes with the classical uses of the subjunctive. And in yellow, we have the exceptions. We have the situations when the subjunctive is imposed by the grammar and does not have an hypothetical value at all. This is key for you to conquer the subjunctive. This part is really, really crucial. So let's take a look at the present. The present has a medium or medium-high likelihood degree. As you see, the imperfect has a very little one, and the future has a very high one. And the present is used for all the realm of possibility, suggestions, and indefinite situations, things that are still open. And we can have the subjunctive in negative sentences and sentences with que. We're going to see some examples in the next page. Moving to the imperfect, as I mentioned, it is the most hypothetical. It's expressing the highest uncertainty degree, very linked to the connectors, and it goes for purely hypothetical and speculating situations. It goes for unreal or impossible situations. And very important, whenever we have a past tense with que, this will trigger the imperfect subjunctive. This is one of the main mistakes students do, and I'll be saving you a lot. I'll be saving you a lot of mistakes and time. I'll be clarifying this part in the end of the video. Moving on to the future. The future is very connected to quando, when, and it is the most assertive of all tenses. It's expressing likely outcomes, potential future actions and situations. And again, it gives this feeling of almost accomplished. It's just a matter of when. So now we're going to see this in motion. We're using two examples, and the first one is going to the beach. So let's start with this one. Vou a uma praia que seja perto. This is one of the first gray areas, because we can also have the sentence, vou a uma praia que é perto. Both are correct. Vou a uma praia que seja perto, ou vou a uma praia que é perto. What is the difference? The difference is that if I say que seja perto, I don't know for sure which beach it is. I might be still searching for the beach, might still be deciding between one or two. I don't know, it's still uncertain which beach it is. Vou a uma praia que é perto. I know for sure which beach it is. That's it. Eu sugiro que tu vás à praia amanhã. Here we have no other option. This sentence would be wrong without the subjunctive, because we have sugiro plus que, always triggering the subjunctive. Talvez eu vá à praia mais logo. It's medium high likelihood degree. I might go to the beach later. Maybe I go, or maybe I will go to the beach later. Moving on to the imperfect. And in these examples, I want you to see these two sentences, so they are kind of connected. Então, e se nós fôssemos à praia? And here we have, então, e se nós formos à praia? Both of these sentences translate into, what about if we go to the beach? But the meaning, the attitude of the speaker, meaning the certainty and the possibility degree here, is quite different. Using the imperfect, it feels very up in the air. It feels more unlikely, less possible than if we say, e se nós formos à praia? Se nós formos à praia is expressing a much higher possibility. That's it. It's still questioning, but the likelihood or possibility degree is a bit different. And now, se eu pudesse, eu ia à praia. Se eu puder, eu vou à praia. Here, the second part of the sentence gives it away. Because here we have the conditional, and here we have the future. So, we know for sure that this is impossible. Se eu pudesse, eu ia à praia. If I could, I would go to the beach. But we know it is impossible. Because if it were, it would be this one. Se eu puder, eu vou à praia. About the weather. Se estivesse bom tempo, eu ia à praia. If the weather were good, or if the weather was good, I would go to the beach. But we know, because of the second part, it's impossible. Quando estiver bom tempo, eu vou à praia. Here, again, it's just a matter of the when. What about se estiver bom tempo, eu vou à praia? So, if we have, instead of quanto here, it's exactly like the situation here of the previous example. It's much higher. It would be like this, almost total. Let's move on to the next example. Fazer o jantar. So, é preciso que eu faça o jantar hoje? Ou fazes tu? Using que, we can't avoid the subjunctives. But we can remove the que. If we remove the que, that will trigger the personal infinitive. There's a chapter explaining this situation. So, é preciso fazer o jantar hoje. Removing the que, we can just have the personal infinitive. But the que will trigger subjunctive. And here, what about if I cook dinner? Então, e se eu fizesse o jantar? Comparing with, e se eu fizer o jantar? It's the classical situation. Here, the likelihood, it is definitely bigger than here. É melhor que eu faça o jantar hoje. Same situation, if we take que, we can have the personal infinitive. É melhor eu fazer o jantar hoje. But the que is triggering the subject. Now, let's look at this one. Se eu fizesse o jantar, eu fazia jardineira. Again, having the imperfect subjunctive here with the conditional, this feels almost impossible. If it was possible, it would be se eu fizer o jantar, vou fazer jardineira. Okay? Using quando, it's even more likely. Okay? Quando eu fizer o jantar, vou fazer jardineira. And now, let's look at the last example. Talvez eu faça o jantar mais logo. A possibilidade, the possibility, is medium high. I might do dinner later. Se pudesse, eu fazia o jantar. Impossible. Again, by the second part, I would do dinner. It's a classical if clause, so we know it's impossible. Quando puder, eu faço o jantar. Here, it's absolute certainty. Again, if we had se puder, eu faço o jantar, this would be this likelihood degree, almost total. Hope this was clear. To wrap up this introduction, I want to leave you the most important ground rule. And when I say the most important, it is because it's the biggest mistake, the most common mistake I see. in understanding the subjunctive, which is this exception here, the factual situations in the past. Let's take a look. So, anytime we have a verb in the past followed by que, that will always trigger the imperfect subjunctive. Let's take a look. Não achava que chovesse tanto, mas choveu. I didn't think it would rain so much, but it did. Ela não acreditava que ele realmente fosse viajar por tanto tempo. She couldn't believe that he was really going to travel for so long. Ela não conseguiu ver o palco do concerto do festival, ainda que fosse alta. So, she couldn't see the concert stage, even though she was tall. So you see, anytime we have a verb in the past, que, that will mandatorily trigger, that will always trigger the imperfect subjunctive. Not just past tenses, the conditional tense as well. Por exemplo, gostava que me fizesses favor. I would like that you do me a favor. We can also have this with the conditional, gostaria que me fizesses favor. This is crucial for you to nail the subjunctive, and remembering this ground rule will save you a lot of mistakes. So, advices to conquer the subjunctive: break it down into bite-sized bits. Do a lot of real-life examples, dialogues, real-life situations for you to start distinguishing the subtlety between the three of them. And again, it will take some practice. The subjunctive really requires some practice, but if you understand these ground rules, you are definitely set up for success. I hope this introduction, this class was helpful. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.